Frosty the Snowman was a jolly happy soul, with a corncob pipe and a button nose and 2 eyes made out of coal.
Hey everyone, this is JamesimusPrime2798 here. I thought I would just drop in and say welcome back to JamesimusPrime2798. This is Q&A number 9. And Merry Christmas everyone. Oh yeah, there's a Christmas tree beside me too. It's because it's Christmas. Alright, let's get down to some questions that you all gave to me. Alright, I'm going to start them off right now. Question number 1. This is 01. What is my favourite live action remake? Well, I've got a lot of favourite live action remakes, but I do not have one in favouritism. I'm going to note them down. There's The Jungle Book from 2016, Beauty and the Beast from 2017, The Lion King from 2019, Charlotte's Web from 2006, the 2 live-action Inspector Gadget movies, the live-action Scooby-Doo movies, and Pinocchio from 2022. They're my favourite live-action remakes. And I know that some of them are supposed to be remakes of their original versions, like, for example, the ones by Disney are based on their old Disney movies they made in the past, and the Inspector Gadget ones are remakes of the cartoon. And the same goes for Scooby-Doo. Alright, question number 2, this is 02. Who is my favourite Scooby-Doo character? It's Scooby-Doo. I like Scooby. He's a brown dog, he's a Great Dane, and he has 2 catchphrases. Rah! And Scooby, Scooby, Dooby Doo! He is my favourite character, and he is best friends with Shaggy, and he's the only canine in the series that can actually talk. And of course, he helps Fred, Daphne, Velma, and Shaggy solve mysteries. They work together as a team. And I have used Scooby-Doo only a few times in my parodies. I've used him as Mutt in my Lightning McQueen in the Magic Road, Thomas in the Magic Railroad parody. Footstool as a dog in my Beauty and the Beast parody. And himself, Jack, Gunner, and Striker's dog in my Swap parody. And Mojo in my Transformers parodies. And Wags the dog in my V2 of the Wiggles movie parody. And yet to come, he will be playing as himself, Dog, Toby, and Gordon Shrek, which I will be doing. And of course, Gromit, my Wallace and Gromit parody. Himself, Greg's dog in my V3 Wiggles movie parody. Himself, Bo's dog in my V2 Dukes of Hazzard parody. Yeah, I love Scooby. And I like Shaggy as well. He's really tall. He's got fuzzy hair. I got hair too. He's got whiskers on his chin. And he's pretty funny. He wears a green t-shirt and red jeans. He and Scooby are best friends. They both love to eat food a lot, and they're both scared a lot, but they are dim-witted enough to work together, as you know. Yeah, and I have used I have used Shaggy. Probably, let's see, how many times? I've only used him a couple of times in my parodies. I've used him as one of the producers in my 101 Dalmatians 2 parody, and Gunnar Malloy in my Swap parody. And yet to come, he'll be playing as Wallace in my Wallace and Gromit, The Curse of the Were-Rabbit parody, Greg in my V3 Wiggles movie parody, Bo Duke in my V2 Dukes of Hazzard movie parody, and Junior in my V3 Thomas and the Magic Railroad parody, and a few others too. Alright, question number 3. Favourite Paint List performances? Well, I've got a lot of favourite Paint List performances because I am a fan of Paint List, and she is one of my favourite actresses, and she was born the same year as me, 1998. Yeah, I'm going to note down a few of my favourite performances of hers. There's Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Roderick Rules, and Diary of a Wimpy Kid Dog Days, Jessie, Bunked, let's see, Swimming for Gold, The Swap, Cobra Kai, Eileen Warnos, American Boogie Woman, and of course her most recent movie, The Friendship Games. Yeah, they're good movies, and in those movies, in Diary of a Wimpy Kid, The Swap, Jessie, and Bunked, and Swimming for Gold, Paint List actually plays as good characters, whereas in Friendship Games and Cobra Kai, she plays as 2 neutral characters, whereas in Eileen Warnos, American Boogie Woman, she plays an evil character. Well, basically an evil person in real life. Yeah, and she began her acting career as an actress in 2022 when she was only 4 years old. That was over 20 years ago. Far out, time flies, eh? Alright, Question number 4. Favorite Simpsons voice actor? It's Nancy Cartwright. I like Nancy Cartwright. She voices Bart Simpson. I'm Bart Simpson. Who the hell are you? And Ralph Wiggum. And Nelson. And Todd Flanders. Yeah, she voices those characters. And she also did voice Chucky Finster in the Rugrats TV series, as well as the new Rugrats, to replace Chucky's old voice actress who passed away in 2014. Yeah, and also there's Dan Castellaneta. He voices Homer Simpson, Grandpa, Barney, and Krusty. Hey, kids! Groundskeeper Willie and Mayor Quimby. Vote Quimby. Heinz My Man, Sideshow Mel, and Itchy. Yeah, they're both my favourite voice actors from The Simpsons because they voice Bart and Homer. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Alright, question number 5. I'm sorry. Am I going to make a Henry's Winter Wonderland, Frosty's Winter Wonderland? Yes, I am. That parody is coming in 2025. I guarantee it will be. It will be coming after I do my Santa Claus is Coming to Town parody. Yeah. Alright, question number 6. Which Home Alone movie is my favourite? Well, it's the first 2 movies. Home Alone from 1990, Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, 1992. They're both my favourite movies because they have the original cast from the first movie. And of course, they kept that way for a long time. And then however, the third movie, the fourth movie, and the fifth movie, and of course the most recent one, are not my favourites because it doesn't have the OG cast in it. Well, except in one scene in the new one, that would be Kevin's brother Buzz. He was labelled as Officer McAllister, but we all knew he was Buzz. Yeah, I like the first 2 movies, and it stars Macaulay Culkin. Yeah, he was Kevin McAllister. He was about 10 or 12 when he was playing Kevin during the time. And when he was in his teen years, or whatever it is, he dated Mila Kunis, aka Laurie Collins, Jackie Bohawk, and Meg Griffin in real life. Yeah, and I will do parodies on the first 2 Home Alone movies. I'm going to do them in 2028 and 2029. And of course, they're the best ones ever. Alright, question number 7. Have I ever thought about rebooting my South Park bigger, longer, and uncut parody? I'm not 100% sure, actually, because, as you all know, I am happy with my cast that I've got for South Park at the moment. Because I did do the parody last year, and I'm not 100% certain if I will do a V2 for South Park. If I do, I'll probably think of some cast ideas. If anyone has any cast ideas, please tell me. I'll be happy to accept them. Alright, number 8. Who is my favourite character in Looney Tunes? It's Bugs Bunny. He's the main character. He's a rabbit, and basically he is a bunny, and he loves to eat carrots. He's Daffy's best friend, and he's also Lola's boyfriend. Yeah, the thing about Looney Tunes, it's a lot different compared to Disney, because Disney and Looney Tunes have their own different directions. And I know Mickey Mouse and Bugs Bunny are very similar, because basically Bugs Bunny, Mickey Mouse. Daffy Duck and Donald Duck are very similar too, but they're not the same, they're just different characters. And I have used Bugs Bunny about only once in my parodies. I've used him as Alan Adale in my Robin Hood parody, and next year he'll be playing as Lenny in my upcoming Simpsons movie parody. Alright, question number 9. I know I've answered this before, but I'm going to answer again. What is my favourite Christmas movie? It's The Polar Express. It's my favourite Christmas movie ever. And I also like, not only that, I also like the Santa Claus trilogy. Though that trilogy is the best trilogy I ever seen. But I did see the new series called The Santa Clauses they did recently, and it's not that great, to be honest. But I can agree on some things, but not everything. But those 2 Christmas movies have something in common. Each of them both cast the 2 main actors from Toy Story, Tom Hanks and Tim Allen. Tom Hanks plays the conductor in the Polar Express, whereas Tim Allen plays Scott Calvin and Scott as Santa Claus in the Santa Claus trilogy. And I'm going to do parodies on the Santa Claus movies in 2024 for its 30th anniversary. And I've done a parody on the Polar Express in case you've missed it. I'm using Bart Simpson as Hero Boy, Woody as the conductor, Emma Ross as Hero Girl, Butterscotch as Billy, Eric Cartman as the know-it-all kid, Gordon the Big Engine as the Polar Express, Mario and Luigi as Smokey and Steamer, Santa Claus as Santa Claus, Lisa Simpson as Sarah, Homer and Marge Simpson as Hero Boy's parents, and I got Milhouse, Lou, Xander, Stan, Kyle, and Kenny as themselves, Hero Boy, Hero Girl, Billy, and Know-It-All's friends. So yeah, those are my favourite Christmas movies. And I also like Elf and Fred Claus. They both are very good Christmas movies, and they're funny as well. And they both also have something in common too. They both cast the two main actors from that movie Old School. Basically, Vince Vaughn and Will Ferrell. Will Ferrell plays Buddy in Elf, and as for Vince Vaughn, he plays Fred Claus in Fred Claus. Alright, question number 10. Who is my favourite Toy Story character? Isn't it obvious? It's Sheriff Woody. I like Woody. He is the main character in Toy Story. He's a pull-string cowboy doll, and he's obviously Andy's favourite toy in all the Toy Story movies. And he got rejected by Andy in the first movie after Andy got Buzz Lightyear, and Woody got fed up with Buzz because Buzz thinks he's a real space ranger. But no, Woody was determined that Andy should pick him instead of Buzz, but he accidentally knocks Buzz out the window by accident. Then he and Buzz had a fight, and then they both got lost, and they tried to make their way back to Andy, but Andy's next door neighbour and arch enemy, Sid Phillips, takes them because he finds them in a skill crane machine and grabs them. And then, yeah. And they both made it back to Andy's because Buzz, to be honest, finds out that he's not a real space ranger. He's a toy from a toy commercial of his that he's seen on television. And then Woody and Buzz put aside their differences and they worked together and they became best friends. Yeah, and I have used Woody, let's see, about 3 times in my parodies. I've used him as the first store owner in my 101 Dalmatians 2 parody, the fat controller in my Thomas and Friends parody, and the conductor in my Polar Express parody. Yeah, and there's another thing about Woody. He's performed by Tom Hanks. Yeah. And I do like all the Toy Story movies except the 4th one. Yeah, and I like Buzz as well. Buzz is my second favourite character. To infinity and beyond. He is Woody's best friend and Jesse's boyfriend. And he is the second protagonist in the Toy Story series. And Buzz is also voiced by Tim Allen. Yeah, and of course, after they did Toy Story 4, they did another movie that stars Buzz Lightyear called Lightyear. But Buzz is not voiced by Tim Allen in that movie anymore. He's voiced by Chris Evans, aka Captain America. I haven't used Buzz in any of my parodies yet, but soon I will. I promise I will. Okay, question number 11. Why do I use Sir Handel as young Thomas, and why not the All Engines Go Thomas? Well, to be honest, I use Sir Handel because he is the closest match to Thomas as a kid, in my opinion, but however, I'm not going to use how Thomas looks like in the All Engines Go series. It's just because it's a cartoon. And it's not the same as the model series or even the railway series. And of course, I can agree on some things, but not everything. I mean, they have Thomas bouncing up and down like a toy, or even a child. And as you know, Thomas, Diesel, Percy, and Nia are voiced by kid actors. But the only thing about the 2D animation I do like is Neil Cron voicing Gordon again since Thomas and the Magic Railroad. And that's about it. But however, guys, I'm not going to use 2D animated Thomas as young Thomas in my parodies because he's not perfect. Sir Handel is the best one yet. Alright, question number 12. Who is my favourite Rugrats character? It's Chucky Finster. I like Chucky. He is the eldest out of Tommy, Phil, Lil, Kimmy, and Tommy. And he's more mature. He is responsible, but he's also scared at times. But he's a good kid. He helps Tommy out a lot because he and him are best friends, whereas in the series he's called his bestest friend. And he owns a little teddy bear called Wawa. His mother made that for him. Well, she died shortly after Chucky passed away, and Chucky's dad, Charles Finster, whereas his friends call him Chaz, had spent 2 years raising Chucky on his own until in Rugrats 2 he met Kira. She was a single mother and had a little girl named Kimmy, and she marries Chucky's dad, and then the four of them became a family, and Chucky had a stepmom and a stepsister. Yeah, and Chucky's a very good character. And all he ever wanted was a real mother, a new mum, and of course, to spend his life with his friends like he always does. Yeah, and I've used Chucky about, let's see, about 3 times in my parodies. I've used him as Michael Darling in my Bo Duke Peter Pan parody, Rheneas in my Thomas and Friends parody, and one of the kids buying ice cream in my V2 Wiggles movie parody. Yeah, and I like Tommy as well. He's the main character of the series. He is a baby. He wears a blue t-shirt, a white diaper, a white nappy, whereas in America they call it diapers. And he's got no hair on his head, only just little specks. But he never gives up on anything. He always has Chucky, Phil, Lil, Kimmy, and Dill by his side, and of course Susie in the new series as well. Yeah, and Tommy's a good character. And however, I have used Tommy only a couple of times in my parodies. I've used him as, let's see, I used him as Ike in my South Park parody, and one of the kids buying ice cream in my V2 Wiggles movie parody. And that's about it. And I've used Phil and Lil as Baby Mowgli and, of course, Baby Mabel in my Jungle Book parody. And I've used Angelica as Daisy in my Thomas and Friends parody. But don't worry, they'll still come sooner or later. Alright, question number 13. Have I read the Railway series? Yes, I have read the Railway series. It's written by the Reverend W. Awdry, and everything about the series is about Thomas and his friends, and of course the trains are all based on real live engines, whereas Thomas is based on an E2, Edward's based on whatever it is, I forgot, Henry was based on a cross between an LNER A1 and a Great Northern C1 Atlantic, then later a Black 5, Gordon's an A3, and I forgot what engine James was, but they're all real live engines. Because as you know, Wilbur Awdry made the series from 1945 to 1972, and then his son Chris Awdry took it home from there and brought it to a close in 2011. And in 1984, Britt Allscroft wanted to make a series for kids, so she went through the Railway series and asked if they could turn it into a television show for children. And yeah, they did. Alright, question number 14. Who is my favourite... I know I've answered this before, but I'll answer it again. Who is my favourite character in Ted? It's Ted. I love Ted. He is voiced by Seth MacFarlane, who voiced Peter Griffin in Family Guy. And he is a living teddy bear, and he came to life by a boy named John Bennett. And I don't need to go over what I've been through with Ted, because I already did it. I've used Ted a few times in my parodies. I've used him as himself, Roger and Anita's friend. Puss in Boots in my Henry Shrek parodies. Trevor the Traction Engine, and himself, Maurice's friend, and yet to come he'll be playing as himself, one of Cade, Tessa and Shane's friends in my Transformers 4 and 5 parodies. Yeah. And I like John as well. John Bennett's my second favourite character. He and Ted are best friends, and they've been together for 27 years, whereas in the movie Ted said, "It's been 4 years, Johnny. You and me have been together for 27 years. Where's my ring?" Yeah. I like John. He's a very good character, and he's performed by Mark Wahlberg. Yeah. And I need to go over what John's like and stuff like that, because I've done it already. And I've used John a number of times in my parodies. I've used him as Derek in my Family Guy parody. Roger Radcliffe, himself, Luke Duke's dad. Mr. Hirsch in my Charlotte's Web 2 parody. Edward the Blue Engine. Shrek as a human in Henry 2 Shrek 2. One of the Baldwins in my South Park movie parody. And Maurice in my Beauty and the Beast parody. And yet to come, he'll be playing as Henry the Green Engine in my V3 Thomas and the Magic Railroad parody, Cade Yeager in my Transformers parodies, and himself, Human Edward, in my rebooted Shrek parody. Yeah, I like John as well, and I like Laurie as well. Laurie's my third favourite character. She is performed by Mila Kunis, who voices Meg Griffin in Family Guy, and she also played Jackie Burkhart in That 70s Show. I like that show too. Laurie's a kind young woman, and she wants John to be a man instead of being a little boy with a teddy bear. But Laurie was a bit selfish, stuck up, and she didn't really care about John and Ted's friendship. And it didn't turn out the way she planned it, but when they tried to bring Ted back to life, Laurie felt ashamed of herself for what she did to John and Ted's friendship, and she realized that friendship and, of course, and all that jazz is more important than just being a selfish woman. Yeah, but Laurie wished for her life back, and then she and John got married. Yeah. And I have used Laurie a lot in my parodies as well. I've used her as Julian in my Family Guy parody, Princess Fiona as a human in my Henry Shrek and my Henry 2 Shrek 2, the hairstylist in my SWAT parody, Mrs. Hirsch in my Charlotte's Web 2 parody, herself, Luke Duke's mother in my Dukes of Hazzard parodies, and yet to come she'll be playing as Molly the Yellow Engine in my Thomas and Friends parody, herself, Human Molly in my Gordon 2 Shrek 2 parody, Cade Yeager's deceased wife Emily Yeager for flashbacks in my Transformers parodies, and Emily the Emerald Engine in my V3 of Hero the Rails and Days of the Diesels for Thomas and Friends. Yeah, I like Laurie. I like Samantha Jackson too. She's my fourth favourite character. She appeared in Ted 2, and she was basically to be Ted and John's lawyer because Ted was declared as property, not a human. But however, she needed to help them get through what they need to get through, and Laurie found out that she wasn't good enough for John when John told Samantha about what he's been through with Laurie. And Samantha realizes that she and John developed some sort of relationship together. But however, she freaked out when John was pretending that he was dead as a practical joke, and she wanted to know how she could explain that to everybody when she put a frowny face on Facebook. But she decided to develop a relationship with John, and then they both agreed to that, and they both shared a kiss. If Laurie was in that scene, she would say, oh, John, and then walked away. Yeah. But I've used Samantha Jackson only twice in my parodies. I used her as a random character in my Charlotte's Web 2 parody and Coach Carol in my SWAT parody. Alright, question number 15. I know I've answered this before, but I'll answer it again. When did I first watch Herbie the Love Bug? Well, I watched Herbie in 2005 when his most recent Herbie movie, Herbie Fully Loaded, was released. And I wish they did more of movies after Herbie Fully Loaded, but they didn't. Yeah, and then after I saw that movie, I began watching the original Herbie the Love Bug movies that stars Dean Jones and a few other movies as well. And as you all know, Herbie Goes to Monte Carlo, Herbie Fully Loaded, and The Love Bug from 1968 are my three favourite Herbie the Love Bug movies. And don't worry, I will do parodies on The Love Bug in 2024. And as you all know, I did do a parody on Herbie Goes to Monte Carlo and Herbie Fully Loaded. In case you missed it, I'm using Lightning McQueen as Herbie, Ash Ketchum as Jim Douglas, Brock as Willie Applegate, Dawn as Diane Darcy, Sally as Giselle and Sally's Yellow Beetle, Dr. Claw as Inspector Boucher, Inspector Gadget as Detective Voldemort, Horace and Jasper as Max and Quincy, Rico as Bruno von Stickle, Pikachu, Piplup and Baneri as themselves Jim and Diane's Pokemon, Bethany Walker / Sarah Quinn as Maggie Payton, Bo Duke as Ray Payton Jr., Tyler Mitchell as Kevin, Martha as Charisma, Homer Simpson as Ray Payton Sr., Marge Simpson as Sally, Sideshow Bob as Trip Murphy, Cecil as Larry, Snake as Crash, Jackson Storm as Trip Murphy's NASCAR, Bart, Lisa, and Maggie Simpson as themselves Maggie and Ray Jr.'s siblings, Luke and Daisy Duke as themselves Maggie and Ray Jr.'s cousins, and the General Lee as Ray Jr.'s NASCAR. Yeah, I like those Herbie movies, and I've done parodies on them, and I'm making that, as well as the TV series, and the Love Bug parodies as well, and I'm making them a slight tribute to Dean Jones, aka Jim Douglas, because, to be honest, he passed away in 2015 after a long battle of Parkinson's disease at the age of 84. And if he was still alive today, he would have been 91 years old. Yeah, and and one day I might do a V2 on Herbie, but we'll see. If I do a V2, I'll decide if I'll keep Lightning McQueen as Herbie. If not, I'll probably use Thomas the Tank Engine or even Henry the Green Engine as Herbie. But we'll see. Alright, Question number 16. I know I've answered this before, but I will answer this one more time. What parodies, reboots / V2s am I planning to do? Well, as you all know, the V2s I've done were of The Jungle Book, The Wiggles movie, The Wiggles Wiggly Safari, and Thomas and the Magic Railroad. Because as you all know, they're the 4 V2s I've done so far. And yet to come, I will be doing the Dukes of Hazzard V2 movies. And as you all know, I was planning on doing Thomas Shrek, but I decided not to. But then I figured Gordon would suit better as Shrek, because I originally did have Thomas as Shrek, but Gordon is now taking the role of being Shrek. So yeah, my cast of that is Gordon the Big Engine as Shrek, Percy the Small Engine as Donkey, Katie Lynn Johnson as Princess Fiona as a human, Rebecca the Yellow Engine as Princess Fiona as an ogre, Gaston as Lord Farquaad, LeFou as Felonious, Daisy the Diesel Railcar as Dragon, Mater as Puss in Boots, well that's funny right there, SpongeBob SquarePants as Pinocchio, Yoshi as Gingy, Brian Griffin as the Big Bad Wolf, Alvin, Simon and Theodore as the Three Blind Mice. I'm definitely going to reuse Huey, Dewey and Louie as the Three Pigs, Jim Douglas as King Harold, Diane Darcy as Queen Lillian, Principal Pixie Frog as King Harold as a frog, Miss Grunion as the fairy godmother, Sideshow Bob as Prince Charming, Thomas the Tank Engine, James the Red Engine, Henry the Green Engine, Edward the Blue Engine, Toby the Tram Engine, Rosie, Mavis, Emily and Molly, Lightning McQueen, Sally, Herbie the Lovebug and Giselle as themselves, Shrek, Donkey, Fiona and Puss as friends. And I got Luke Duke as Shrek as a human, the General Lee as Donkey as a horse. I was originally going to use Finn McMissile, but the General Lee's going to do me. And I got Xander McCormick, Austin Moon, Bo Duke, John Bennett, Emma Ross, Ali Dawson, Annette, Laurie Collins, James Dalton, Dr. Elizabeth Clay, Ash Ketchum and Serena as themselves human Thomas, James, Edward, Henry, Rosie, Mavis, Emily, Molly, Lightning McQueen, Sally, Herbie and Giselle, and Scooby-Doo as himself, Toby as a dog, Harry Potter as Artie, Albus Dumbledore as Merlin. So yeah guys, that's all the questions I have answered for you today. I'm sorry I'm talking like this, just I got a little bit of a sniffle, but as you all know, next year will be the 2023 where I do more parodies. And if you guys have any more questions you want to ask me, go ahead and ask me. I'm all ears and all eyes through YouTube as well. So guys, I want you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, watch my YouTube parodies, watch Vlog 1 for Australia Day, Vlog 2 for my friend's 21st birthday, Vlog 3 my mate's 22nd birthday, and Vlog 4 my mate's 21st birthday. And I promise you, I will do Vlog number 5, guaranteed I will. And of course, look forward to my upcoming YouTube parody for next year, The Simpsons movie, JamesimusPrime2798. So yeah, I want to thank you for tuning in. This is JamesimusPrime2798. You all have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And I'll talk to you later. Goodbye, and I'm gone. And Merry Christmas!
Frosty the Snowman had to hurry on his way.